There we go. All right. Hello, 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 everyone. Kathy, thank you for joining. My name is Rainey Ray, and I am an essential oil enthusiast and educator. I just love these oils and what they can do for us. Um, so, a few announcements and reminders, just real quick. Rebecca, who will hopefully be joining us soon, we're planning to do another sourdough and oils gut health class. It's hands-on. You learn to make sourdough. I give you everything you need in order to make your first loaf. And we're picking a date now, so any local peeps that are interested, reach out to me and you can have input on the date. Also, no system is perfect. So when you're with your loyalty orders and your single orders, please, oh, I had that on silent. Sorry about that. Please make sure to check your orders, okay? Because someone called me this morning and said that their loyalty order had been canceled. They thought it ran. They didn't get a confirmation. They went in and they checked. Check, 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 because it's a computer, okay? They're upgrading and trying to make things better, but always check. Some people have had things added on. Check all the way through, including your address, okay? So, because things can get wonky. Points that you earn, and we love our points because they're dollars to spend, they expire a year after they're earned. Also, just a reminder, when I send out texts from my business texting number, um, they don't respond to that one. Okay. I don't get notifications. It's really outgoing. So save my regular cell. That's the 941 area code number. Save my regular cell. That's the 847 as Rainy Ray and use that one. The 941 number, just call it like Rainy doTERRA, whatever you want. So you know who's texting you, not some alien, all right? And also so that you know which number is which. So make separate contacts. Also, we're scheduling other classes before Tom and I hit the road. As everyone knows, we hit the road for, I'm going to be gone 6, 7 weeks this year. Tom will be gone longer. So let's get some, one-on-ones or classes or meet with your friends and help them out. Let's get that all scheduled. So, Rebecca, I see that you're there. I see your ceiling. I see something. Welcome aboard. Unmute yourself if you want. I don't know if you know Kathy. Kathy Coe is here. Kathy is newer to our doTERRA journey. And so, do either of you have any questions, issues, things you want to talk about? Um, Otherwise, we'll jump into bouncing ideas around for sleep.
First of
Nope.
all, sorry I joined late.
No worries, Rebecca.
Welcome, Kathy.
Hi.
Um, I just put the little uh, figure there for my ceiling. Uh, I'm just getting ready to get in the shower. Glad to be here. That's
All
all.
right, glad you're here. Kath, do you have any questions, issues, anything going on?
Nope, I don't.
Awesome. Okay. And anytime you do, I just tell people reach out to me or the person who helped you get your account. If it was me, I'm happy to help no matter what. Because no question is silly, no question is unimportant. I had so many questions when I started, and the person that helped me get my account was not ideal. So I want to be the opposite of that. I want to be there for you. I want us to be a community, which we are, and growing and having fun. So sleep. Um, Boy, I don't even know where to start. It's one of the most frequent issues that people bring up. They're having trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, getting back to sleep after they get up, maybe to go to the bathroom or something pops in their mind. Um, I'm a big believer in a pre-sleep routine. If you followed me for a while, having been an athlete and admiring athletes, I see that when Person gets up to shoot a free throw, when they are putting, when they're doing anything, they're getting ready to perform. There's a routine that they go through that gets them in that mode. Sleep is the same. So we want to create good habits. People who have trouble with their kids or grandkids not wanting to sleep. It takes some days, some say 21 days of doing a new habit before it kicks in. With our sleep oils, I find it takes much less, okay? Um, but something astounding happened to me a few couple of weeks ago. I had been using our oils and supplements for sleep for years, modifying it a little, using a diffuser, rolling on stuff, using our sleep stick, using our Serenity soft gels, things like that. And all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, I forgot to take my Serenity soft gels along with Copaiba soft gels, and we'll talk about that later. And I actually fell asleep without it. And I thought, this is interesting. So the next night I said, okay, I'm going to try it again. Now, in the past, when I've forgotten, I couldn't sleep. You toss and turn, you go, I can do this. And then you can't, right? So ever since then, knock on wood, it has been happening where I just can fall asleep without, well, I have my diffuser running always, but I can fall asleep without any additional sleep promoting products. So what changed? There's only one thing that changed, and I started taking this VMG. I know that when I started taking our collagen, I had better quality sleep. The VMG I've been on now since last September. So what is that, 9 months? Whatever it is, 8 months. And all of a sudden, boom, things are happening. What does that tell us? If we give our bodies the proper environment, they will heal themselves. Whatever was going on with me that was making it so I couldn't sleep, because I was the kid who fell asleep on the school bus. I could sleep like that. Okay. And then as an adult, it was like a problem. Okay. Couldn't shut my brain off. So anyway, I want to talk about what people are using for sleep. Okay. Um, I always tell people to start with lavender. I don't have the 5 ml out, but here's a lavender roller. Okay. Lavender is amazing for sleep. Whether you're using a pre-diluted roller from doTERRA, whether you make the roller, lavender, swiping it on the bottom of your feet, putting some on the back of your neck, breathing it in. Anytime you're using an oil, first of all, I always like to give it a little shimmy shake. And then if you put some on, rub it together, always breathe it in. Okay, always, because we want to take in oils in multiple ways. And just doing lavender improves sleep and helps people to go to sleep. Um, I mean, I love lavender. The past few years, I've been using the combination of Serenity soft gels and upside down, Copaiba soft gels. Okay. I started with just the Serenity soft gels. I started with one, then I needed two. Okay. And I've been at two for years. Our Serenity oil blend is not intended for internal use. These are made for internal use. They added something interesting a year ago, which was tart cherry to help. This is great. It's called the Restful Complex. It's the oil or the soft gels are great for handling overwhelm, calming during the day, but also sleeping at night. I found adding Copaiba soft gels was like the secret sauce. Copaiba is amazing. We know that adding it to Deep Blue ups the effectiveness of the Deep Blue. And I had heard that adding Copaiba at night really helps. Do you need to take the soft gels? No. Okay. Just take 2 drops of the oil along with your Serenity soft gel, or try 2 drops of the oil on its own or with lavender applied. Okay. You can do it in a shot. You can do it right into your mouth. You can do it in a capsule. Copaiba is lovely. Okay. Copaiba is made from a resin. I find that it is as multi-purpose almost as frankincense. Okay. And it's half the price. So copaiba is wonderful. The other thing I want to tell you is I believe in running a diffuser at night. So when I started with doTERRA, our dog Jack, God bless him, he would lay on the bed on his back and snore all night long, louder than Tom. Okay, of course I never snore. You believe that? I'll sell you swampland, right, Kat? All right. So I started by putting Breathe in our diffuser. Okay. Breathe is our respiratory blend. It opens up airways. And within a few minutes of putting the Breathe in, our dog would stop snoring. Okay. He didn't know what I was putting in. It just worked. Okay. Why is Breathe in my diffuser to this day every night? You want open airways for good sleeping. Okay. I combine it with Serenity, and because I have trouble shutting my brain off, I put in Adaptive. Adaptive is our calming blend. It's our answer to mental health issues. Adaptive comes in a roller, okay? It comes in a soft gel, a capsule that I take every single morning, okay? This helps me with anxiety, overwhelm. Um, it helps me to stay stable. It helps me to stay measured. It helps me to be comfortable. It helps me so I'm not reactive. Adaptive, I've used with guys and gals with PTSD, ADHD, ADD, all of the alphabet soup. doTERRA's answer to mental health. Okay. So it's great with your Serenity and your Breathe at night and your diffuser. Um, we also have the sleep stick. So Rebecca, chime in. You use this sleep stick, right? Or are you
I
in the
do.
shower already?
Yes, you're in the shower with me. No.
Okay.
Yes, I use the sleep stick uh, religiously, and Kathy doesn't know about my weirdness in health, but I use it not only because of what it's supposed to do, but also because of just when I smell it, a sense of calm comes over me. Forget what it does for me from a application to the skin. The scent of the Serenity Sleep Stick just
Yeah. Well, and if I can, Rebecca, if I have your permission, Rebecca has a condition where after taking the second COVID vaccine, at the behest of her doctor for long hauler symptoms from having had COVID, she was bedridden for over a year and a half, and is so strong and brave and coming through it. And now, what is it? It's over 4 years later.
May 6th was my 4-year
4 year,
anniversary.
yeah. So, I think that, using something to get good quality sleep has been an important part of her journey. Um, because
Yes.
we know that our bodies heal when we're sleeping.
Right.
And
With good sleep.
with good sleep. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, caveat. I'll always tell you when I like stuff or when I don't like stuff. Okay. Anything that has vetiver in it. Now, vetiver on its own is incredible for sleep. Okay. And vetiver, here's vetiver, is a very thick oil. When I first got my first bottle of vetiver, I had it turned upside down and I'm waiting, 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 waiting. And I called customer service and I said, there's something wrong with my vetiver. And the doTERRA customer service is so good. She started laughing at me. She goes, oh my God, I get so many calls like this from new users, right? Because it's really thick. So they sell a vetiver roller, okay, that's pre-diluted. Also, what I do is when I've used some vetiver, I create a 50-50 mix with a drop.
You're not
Yeah.
holding the bottles in so we can see them clearly.
Ah, how's that?
A little towards your left. There.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Director Rebecca. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Takes a village, girl.
Yes.
Anything that has vetiver in it, I it makes me sleep and it's wonderful and it works, but I get really busy dreams. Not scary, not bad. I just feel like I've been busy. So, so a little trick I learned along the way, if that happens to you, take juniper berry. Is that better, Rebecca?
Perfect.
Juniper berry and just I take it neat right out of the bottle. I just touch my finger to the top, put it on the bottoms of my feet, okay? And it takes away all of those busy dreams. It's amazing how what these oils do. So the other thing that I want to tell you is let's say somebody says, I don't like the smell of vetiver, of lavender. Some people don't, okay, even though ours is gorgeous. Then we have, and I don't know where I set it here, we have an oil that's called petitgrain. Petitgrain. They call it the man's lavender. Okay. It has a lot of the same relaxing properties of our lavender, but it doesn't smell floral. Okay. Petitgrain is not an aroma that I love, but it works really, really good. Okay. Um, Cedar wood is another one. Sometimes I rotate cedar wood in my diffuser. It's amazing. I just thought cedar wood was good for keeping bugs away. Okay.
I was
Um,
afraid you weren't going to mention it because that is a constant in my night diffuser.
is it? Okay, so what do you have in your nighttime diffuser?
Well, I have lavender breeze, cedar wood. Let me walk over here to my night diffuser because when you put things in the right place, then you don't have to remember.
So true.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, well, I've got a little on guard going there. Um, and digest then.
So you put in cedar wood and what?
Mm-hmm. Digest then,
Oh, nice.
breathe.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And on guard.
And on guard. Yes.
Beautiful. I love it. I love the combo. You know, it's getting into your system. Another one I was reading through, and I'll post all this. Magnolia. Our magnolia is exquisite. And I know people that roll this magnolia on in their bedtime routine, and it really is amazing. I love the smell of it for a personal fragrance. But magnolia works really good too. The other thing when I was reading and prepping that I did not know was basil. Who would have thought that basil is good? It helps to overcome adrenal fatigue driven insomnia, which I had not heard of. So I guess if people have adrenal fatigue, it can inhibit sleep. I love basil. Great for ear issues, great in cooking. Okay, so basil for sleep. Who knew, right? The other thing that I really like, Rebecca, I don't know if you've tried this, is our Kids Blend Calmer. Calmer. I have a story about this. There's a gal a few years ago who opened her account with doTERRA and opened it with just the kids collection. So that's all these oils. Okay, these are all rollers. There are flip cards. These are great for gifts for, parents. And our kids' oils are not just for kids. We adults love them too. And most of them you can use on pets depending on the ingredients. Um, and they work great. Pre-diluted. The only difference between the kids' collection and some of our blends for adults is, for example, a kid may not like the smell of our On Guard with the heavier smells of cinnamon and clove and all that. It might be too much for them. So there is a oil that is great for the kids to boost their immune. That's called Stronger, and kids love it. Okay. So this gal who bought the kids collection, we were on the phone and going over what the oils in the kids collection can do. And her kids were a little fussy. They were probably 5 or 6 at the time. So I said, you have the power. And she said, what do you mean? I said, dig in your bag, get out your Calmer. I want you to go over and just roll a little on the bottom of each kid's feet, rub their little feet together, you know how you do, and come on back and we'll talk more. By the time she did it and came back, her kids were sitting in a chair sharing a book. She said that's never happened, that they just, you know, chilled out. So Calmer looks really good at night. Other ones, In Tune, Peace, Adaptive, I mentioned. I love the roller. I keep it with for helping me back off the shelf, as we say, that edge of jumping over. Um, so those are some of the other ideas that I have. One more is our Peace roller. Peace comes in a 5 mil, also comes in a roller. Um, Before we had adaptive, this was my go-to help with mental health issues. It's called the Reassuring Blend. And I wish we had smell-o-vision because it is so good. Um, and that's really, really good. I have one customer, all she does is buy a piece roller every month. That's all she does. All she cares about, loves her piece. Okay. Which is so cool. So diffuse them, take them internally. Um, Use them topically, but develop your routine. Um, so Kathy, you have the power with lavender already. Yep. And then I don't know if I can hear you say something.
Hello?
Hello, testing. Okay. Um, but is there a issue that you have with sleep?
Yeah, I'm an insomniac, but
Oh
I
boy.
take melatonin now.
Good, good.
20 milligrams helps me get to sleep.
Awesome. Okay. And you've got your diffuser, right?
Right.
So in your diffuser, you may want to put in some lavender.
Okay.
Okay. I believe you also have cedar wood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you may want to put in lavender and cedar wood, or try just lavender. Try just cedar wood. Try the combo. If you're wondering how something's going to smell, just open both bottles and smell it, Okay. Another one I love is Shinrin Yoku. Anybody who knows me, this is one of my favorite of all time blends. It is our forest bathing blend. And it's great for in the office. It's great for in the bedroom at night. It's just amazing. So if you put that in your diffuser, okay, lavender, you can make a lavender roller. Simply take one of your 10 mil rollers, okay, and put 20 drops of lavender and top it off with coconut oil.
Okay.
And you can roll that on the bottom of your feet, back of your neck, pulse points, breathe it in. Um, it's really quite good for calming you down. What, if I can ask, what do you think your insomnia is caused from? Head going, body, everything?
Probably my head, but it's been that way since I've been little.
Okay.
I've always been that way.
And do you have a pre-sleep routine?
Well, I go to the bedroom about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I play on my iPad till my melatonin kicks in, and then I go to bed, go to sleep.
Okay. Okay. And so I know that the stimulation from the iPad,
Not
is,
good. Yeah.
they say it's not good, but I need to be doing something also.
Thank you.
I just watch mindless TV for a little while, and I know that's not good either. So when you go into your bedroom at night, do you start your diffuser?
Yes,
Excellent. And then do you get up to take your melatonin or you've already taken it?
I've already taken it.
Awesome. Okay, I love that. Anything that's natural, I love that. Okay. Um, so I would add one thing at a time on. If you're adding, isn't this a great bruise? I was cleaning my vehicle and jammed it.
Ouch.
Yeah. If you're gonna add like lavender, just add the one thing. Because you can get cray cray if you add multiple things and don't know what's working.
Okay.
If let me know if lavender is working a little bit, and then we can do a combo, or you can try lavender and cedar wood. Doesn't have to be in the diffuser. You can just layer them on in rollers. Make a cedar wood roller.
Okay.
Same way, 20 drops, top it off with coconut oil. We have the cap stickers, okay? But when in doubt, remember, just make a sticker, okay?
Okay.
This is a sleep roller that's vetiver and juniper berry that I made. So what did I do? How many drops? 20 drops each. Okay, easy. Um, Kind of like to keep it simple that way. Another one that really works is this is our tried and true. Sleep and calming, okay, which is serenity and balance. Okay, serenity is a blend, balance is a blend. Balance is pre-diluted, okay, but we still add equal amounts. So how many drops? 20 drops. Yeah. And top it off with coconut oil. This, if it's more diluted, I use on pets. I use on kids. This, my friend Deb Rose, who's a retired nurse, calls it sit and chill. Um, this was a go-to for me for a long time for getting sleep. Um, it is easy to make and easy, everybody loves the aroma. Um, as opposed to things like petitgrain and stuff that I'm just not it just doesn't, it's not yummy to me. So, I don't know if that was helpful. If not, then we can up level like the Serenity stick. Things like that. Serenity in your diffuser, slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah,
Okay.
as Rain said, you can go crazy putting things in rollers and diffusers, but one oil at a time, one supplement at a time is how I have progressed. Um, A, if it's not working, then you know to change it or to add to it. But you don't know what's working otherwise. And so you end up just with a cacophony of oils and it gets tedious. One thing that Rain did not mention, and it's one of my favorites, is Roman chamomile.
I brought it out, but you're right. I didn't mention it. Only comes in a
And
5 ml. Yeah.
yep, and it's you don't slather Roman chamomile. But it is one of those things where if I feel like I'm having nervous issues, nervous about the next day or nervous because of the day I've had, I'll pull out the Roman chamomile. And on Rainy's advice, which is always great, but just this is my 15 cents, um, I start my sleep routine by going into my bedroom and turning on my diffuser, say 15 minutes before, so that when I'm actually going in to go to bed, then my diffuser's already running. It doesn't have to be an hour, just that. And that's like that's the beginning of the routine. And I have other things that I have to do, 15 minutes before I'm ready to get into the bed. So I can do all of those things and then I can, go and do a few things around the house, whatever you want to do. But you're telling your body, I'm getting ready for bed. And then your room is ready for you to get in bed, if that makes sense.
Another thing that I started doing, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little longer, was I turned my phone on the DND, do not disturb. Now, if someone needs to get a hold of me, so you have a favorites list and they can always get through, okay? And then you can yell at them if it's for nothing and it's the middle of the night, you know? But, you can set it so that if somebody repeat calls, they can get through because emergencies do happen. And I worry about that. Um, but that really has been a good thing to help to shut the brain down. Anyway, but I hope this was helpful. I think I like to keep things shorter, so we're at our half hour. Any other comments or questions, Kath or Rebecca?
I have one on dogs.
Yes.
Sophie is so afraid of thunder and lightning. And then both dogs are kind of anxious when we go for car rides. Is there something I have or
Absolutely. Okay, I did a video on fireworks, but it applies for thunderstorms. So if you go to my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/at Rainy Ray or search Rainy Ray. Um, and then within my channel, search for the fireworks one. That's number one. Um, but firework, I mean, thunderstorms and fireworks are a very similar kind of a thing. Um, so in there, I talk about several things that are important to do. So when you know a storm is coming in, what do you do? Well, you start a diffuser. Prior to a storm coming in, you have high reward games that you can do with your dog to distract them. So those are practiced beforehand so that when the storm comes in, you can do something fun. They may or may not want to do something fun when they're scared. Okay. Um, Balance and serenity. This is the go-to for thunderstorms, fireworks, all of that. It's marvelous. This sleep and calming, sit and chill. And we make a mixture. I didn't bring one out, but in a 1 ounce spray, we get them from doTERRA. They don't leak. I bought the Amazon ones. Caca. Okay. Um, but I like to put this in a spray with water, this being serenity and balance, because if you put oil on a dog, the dog gets oily hair.
okay.
And I don't, again, caca, right? So I like to spray it on my hand, just like you would roll this on your hand and then pet it on them. You can, when they're used to it, you can spray on bedding, and I can go through with you. You never just start with something with the dog or horse. You give them the respect, you let them smell it, make a big deal out of it. Oh, Kathy, look what I got. A true toy, that voice. And then they're And the animal is going to tell you when they're acclimated to the use of oils what oil they need. They self-select. So if you have a mixture of serenity and balance, and maybe you have a mix a lavender, and you after your dog is used to it and you present things to your dog is going to tell you by their behavior, their change of, their ears and smelling and turning head away or licking is a good sign. There's going to be things that will tell you what to use, okay? But playing some music in the house. There's also videos, YouTube things that you can find where it's thunderstorms. You can play it ever so quietly. But I believe it's the barometric pressure in addition to the noise and lights that affects and signals to a dog to be afraid. Okay. Just like there's a compression or pressure with fireworks. So, um, so that's good. In the car, we love lavender and digestin. Okay. Digestin is our digestive blend that we dilute down to the dog's size and apply a little bit on the tummy before going in to the car. And we use lavender for calming. And depending on if the dog is scared or just gets motion sickness, then we proceed from there.
She just gets scared.
Yeah, yeah. And same dog, same Sophie. It has, okay.
Yeah.
So we may want to start with some of the calming oils. You already own lavender. When in doubt, use what you have. Okay.
And I
So
have
how much
digest.
does Sophie weigh?
I think she's around 10 pounds.
Okay. So what I would do is if you're going to make a 10 mil roller, okay, what I would do is I would put in 2 drops of lavender. And then I would fill it up to just like you see, this is not filled all the way,
Right?
maybe a little less. And so that way you could add more stuff if you needed to, okay? But you always, for a little dog like 10 pounds, that would be diluting it to 1%.
Okay.
And I start with that. There, you can make a half of a roller and put 1 drop in. I don't care what you do, okay? Think of a half of a roller as 100 drops, a full roller is 200 drops. So if I'm doing 1%, I'm going to put 1 drop for a half a roller of coconut oil. Does that make sense?
Like coconut oil or water.
Fractionated coconut oil, because we're going to try it that way.
Okay.
Okay. Or you can get a one
I,
ounce
I her
sprayer.
yeah, I think her confusion was roller versus
Yeah,
sprayer.
either one
Yeah.
works. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If we're using an oil a lot, I don't like to have oily skin, oily hair. But if we're trying things out, and then what I would do is roll some on your hand, okay? Rub your hands together till it's not puddled, and then just pet her from the top of the neck all the way down her spine, and then a little bit in her front.
Okay.
But remember to present it to her first, closed, and say, "Hey, Sophie, look what I got." Okay? All right.
Try
Um,
that.
and we can try that and we can work on. I have a lot of videos on use of oils with on pets and animals on my YouTube if you want to hop in there.
Okay, so I'll start with the lavender
Absolutely.
and then
Lavender is the queen. Yeah.
at some point I can add the digest then
Yep. Yep. We
to
can
the
add that
lavender.
on any of your orders. Yes.
Okay, I think I have that.
If you
Oh,
do,
I'm
that's
right.
great. I think you might have it in a roller already,
Yep,
pre-diluted.
yep.
And
Oh,
you'll
that.
know that it's if it's a doTERRA roller,
Mm-hmm.
you see there where it says touch,
Yeah.
okay? That's pre-diluted.
Okay.
Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you can
I'm
roll
just writing
that
it.
on your hand and then roll it on her tummy. But remember, show it to her first.
Okay.
Present it to her first so that you're not just coming at her with something that's so aromatic.
Okay.
Yeah. So their olfactory systems, as you know, are much better than ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Cool.
better than mine.
I love that. And then we can talk and follow up, Kath. No big deal.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right.
Maybe
Happy
I missed.
sleeping, everybody, and happy oiling. I
I have a
hope
quick
this at
question.
least, addressed some possibilities for people.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Take good care, you guys. Happy
We'll
oiling.
see you Saturday.
You got it. See you then.
Bye-bye. Nice meeting you, Rebecca.